Welcome back to another day of learning. Let's get started on Table of Contents, Week 3, page 17 of Reading Language Arts. We're going to get started on Day 2. So Day 2, Caregiver. You're going to lead 2 literacy skill building activities. First one is the mystery game. Let's go to page 46. And we're playing the mystery game. Mystery game is here. You're going to play a mystery game in which you are calling your child's name or looking for an object around the house. For example, say I'm thinking of someone whose name begins with, and you're going to say the sound for the letter. Or I'm looking for an item that begins with the sound G. So let's play the mystery game. I'm looking for an item that begins with mango. I'm looking for an item that starts with cookie. I'm looking for an item that starts with pen. Last one. I'm looking for an item that starts with bottle. Now that we finished the mystery game, I'm going back to the table of contents, and it's telling me that we're going to play the blend words. You're going to find out on page 49. Blend words. Gather several small objects from around the house. Say, let's see if you can guess what am I hiding behind my back. I will say parts of the word, and if you put these words together, you will be able to guess what I have behind my back. Pronounce the first sound and ending rhyme separately. For example, p, n. If your child is able to blend the parts and come up with the word, show him or her the pen and repeat with another object or toy. If your child is not able to blend the first sound and ending rhyme, model the process. For example, bat. Repeat this practice blending parts of words into whole words. Let's get started. Try to guess what I have behind my back. Mango. Next one. Pen. Pen. Next one. Cookie. Cookie. And last one. Ask. Mask. Alright, we are done with our 2 activities. We're going to go to reading and writing. And we're going to choose a book from home, or we're going to reread Can You See in the Dark? That book, Can You See in the Dark, is on page 83. After you read the book and you listen to the book, you're going to ask the student to turn to any page in the book and explain what is happening in this picture. Parents, make sure to ask the students to draw and write about what is happening in the picture. So let's get started on reading the book, Can You See in the Dark?
Can you see in the dark? Can you see in the dark? Do you need light to see? To find the answer, you need evidence. And the only way to get the evidence you need is to find a place that's completely dark with no light at all. Think of some dark places. Can you see in those places? You can find your way to the bathroom after bedtime without turning on a light. You can see empty seats in a dark movie theater. But are those places completely dark? Is there any light there at all? To find out whether you need light to see, you have to find a place with no light. None. Nada. Zero. Think of a movie theater. You walk in after the movie starts. It is hard to see, but you could still find a seat. You can see a little bit. Is there any light in the theater? What do you observe? You may see little light bulbs on the floor next to the seats. Behind you, you can see light coming from the movie projector. Light does not just float around, it has to come from somewhere. A place where light comes from is called a light source. The light bulbs on the floor are a light source. The movie projector is also a light source. Even though the movie theater seems dark, there is some light. The theater is not completely dark. You don't have the evidence you need yet. To find out whether you need light to see, you have to find something darker to observe. You walk out of the theater. It is a rainy night. Is it completely dark? Can you find any light? On the walk home, you notice light from many sources. Street lights, car headlights, and the glowing sign at the gas station. You can see, but that is not evidence that you can see in the dark. It is nighttime, but it is not completely dark. Think of a darker place. You can go camping in the middle of the woods, where there are no streetlights or headlights. Is it completely dark? Can you find any light? Yes, the campfire is a source of light. Your flashlight is a source of light too. When the fire goes out and you turn off the flashlight, it gets much darker. Is it completely dark? Can you find any light? Look up in the sky. What do you observe? Up there are thousands of light sources. The stars. Even in the middle of the forest at night, it is not completely dark. You cannot get the evidence you need to answer your question yet. Back at home, your bedroom may seem completely dark when you turn off the lights. Can you see? Maybe you see a glass of water on the table next to your bed. Maybe you can count the stripes on your bedspread. Is it completely dark? Can you find any light? You see some light from a street light and from the neighbor's house coming through the window. Your room is not completely dark after all. Being able to see in your bedroom at night is not really evidence that you can see in the dark. Can you imagine a place that is completely dark with no light from any source? You crawl under your bed. You remember how dark it was under there when you play hide and seek. Is it completely dark? Can you find any light? In a few seconds, you start to see things. You can see a sock that has been missing for a month. Does this mean you can see in the dark? You look around. Light from the neighbor's house and the street light outside your window is also getting under your bed. You have to find some place darker. You scramble into your closet and shut the door. Yes, you think. I found the place that is completely dark. No light is getting in here from any source. You can just barely see your hand if you hold it in front of your face. Is it completely dark? Can you find any light? You notice a crack under the door where light from outside is getting in. You still don't have the evidence you need. You still cannot prove whether or not you need light to see. A few days later, you go on a field trip to a cave. The tour guide leads you into the cave. It is dark in here, really dark. Deep in the cave, there is no light from the sun. This may be the perfect place to test whether you can see in the dark. The tour guide is talking about how caves are formed, but you are wondering how dark the cave could get. You finally get a chance to ask. The tour guide says, "I'll show you. I'm going to turn off the lights for a minute." She turns off the lights and everything is black. You look around for sources of light, but you do not see any. In fact, you cannot see anything at all. Just to be sure, you wait. And wait, but you never see anything. A smile crosses your face. None of your classmates can see the smile, even though they're standing right in front of you. Still, you know the smile is there because you can feel it. You finally have the evidence you need. You have found a place that is completely dark. There is no light from any source. It is completely dark and you cannot see in the dark. If you can see anything, it is because of light. You need light to see.
Now that we've finished reading the book, don't forget to ask those questions to the learners. And we are done with day 2, week 3 of Reading Language Arts. So let's check that off. Day 2 is done. Let's get started on math. Week 3, page 31, to find out what we're doing. On page 31, on math, week 3, day 2, you're going to do lesson 12, and that is going to be on page 182. After that, we're going to move on to problem set 212. So first, let's go to page 182. Alright, we're on page 182, lesson 12. Let's get started. Okay. Claudia bought 8 red apples and 9 green apples. How many apples does Claudia have all together? So let's start off by doing our drawing. So she has 8 red apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next, she has 9 green apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We always want to make 10. That way it can be easier to add. That is because we're getting ready for algebra. So, which number is closer to 10? 8 or 9? Looking at a number line, which one is closer to 10? 8 is closer or 9 is closer? 9 is closer to 10. So the green apples is closer to 10. So I'm going to take one of these red apples, put it here. So now that I have 10 here, and I have 7 here, we're gonna do 10 plus 7. 10 plus 7 equals 17. So Claudia has 17 apples. All right, now that we finished with problem 12, you're gonna work on problem set. That's on page 12. And problem set, you're gonna work on questions 1 to 6. 1 to 6. Show your strategies, create those 10s. Let's move on to the last subject of the day, which is science and social studies. Week 3, page 39. Day 2, we're learning about frogs. You're going to read the frog's background information, which is on page 310. Then you're going to say to your child, imagine you're a frog. What would your habitat look like? Have them draw it on a piece of paper. Let's go to page 310. Background information. You're going to read this to the students, all about frogs. Then after, you're going to show them the brain pop video that I have for you. And we're all done with science and social studies. Stay tuned for the frogs brain pop video.
Come look, Moby. There's a frog in our class garden. What are frogs? A vertebrate is an animal that has a spine or backbone. Frogs are vertebrates. They're also amphibians, which are animals that have adapted to live on land and water. Amphibians are cold-blooded. which means they use their environment to help them control their body temperatures. They warm up on land and cool down in the water or in mud. Frogs, toads, salamanders, newts, and caecilians are all types of amphibians. Frogs and toads have a lot in common, and they're in the same family. Toads are actually a type of frog. Adult frogs breathe through lungs, just like people. But many frogs can breathe and drink water through their skin. Frogs have strong legs that help them jump and hop. Many species of tree frogs have sticky feet, and they can cling to leaves and branches. Some species have webbed feet, which help them swim. Other species use their webbed feet to glide between trees. Frogs have long, sticky tongues that help them snatch up insects and other prey. Prey is an animal that is eaten by other animals. Where do frogs live? Frogs can only live in fresh water, so you won't find them in the ocean. Many frogs live near rivers, lakes, streams, and ponds. Frogs also live in woodland forests and in jungles and rainforests. Some frogs even live in deserts. The trilling frog lives in the Australian deserts, and it burrows deep underground to stay cool. How do frogs stay safe? A predator is an animal that hunts other animals for food. Frogs have many predators, so they have to stay safe in their habitats. Frogs can croak loudly to communicate with each other and scare off predators. Many frogs use camouflage to hide in their environments to stay safe. Some species, such as this laughing tree frog, can change colors to match their surroundings and hide. Other frogs have bright colors that warn predators to stay away. These poison dart frogs are some of the most poisonous animals on the planet. Many species, such as the tomato frog, can puff up their bodies to look bigger and scare off enemies. How do frogs grow and change? A life cycle shows how a living thing grows and changes. Female frogs lay tiny, soft eggs in the water. Tadpoles hatch from the eggs. They look really different from adult frogs. Tadpoles breathe underwater through gills. As they get older, they grow the back legs and then the front legs. They lose their gills and develop lungs, and then lose their tails. When they become adult frogs, females can lay eggs and the cycle starts again. What is happening to frogs? Today, many frogs are losing their habitats, and many species are becoming endangered or extinct. Chemicals and pollution in the environment are also harming many frogs. When people introduce new animals to a habitat, they can cause problems for frogs. Over the years, people have brought fish, such as trout, to freshwater habitats. The trout eat tadpoles and eggs, and they've caused problems for species like the Sierra Nevada yellow-legged frog. Frogs are an important part of many food chains. When frogs die off, it can cause problems for other living things. So, it's important to care for our environment and protect habitats. It's time to get back to class, Moby.